So hello everyone, starting with today's lecture. In previous lecture we started with aphorism number 162 and in this we completed up to 165, and in this aphorism number 162 to 170 we started as a management of cases with partially similar remedies. What should be the management of cases with partially similar remedies? So in this we started with aphorism number 162. So what is explaining in aphorism number 162, as it explained about the selection of similimum, or how the imperfect selection of similimum is occurred. So in this imperfect selection of similimum can occur in two ways, that is due to the lack of knowledge of medicine and lack of knowledge of disease. So in this, if the physician is not having the knowledge of all the medicine which proved till date and all the pathogenetic effect of all the proved medicine, there is a chance of imperfect selection of similimum. If he has not a correct knowledge of medicine and he or number of medicines that is proved, that knowledge is not known to him or her, in that case there may be imperfect selection of similimum. So this is the one way in which there is an imperfect selection of similimum. And secondly, that is knowledge of disease. If the physician do not have the knowledge of disease, in this, if the physician clearly pursue what is to be cured in disease, that is to say, in each and every type of disease, physician can select an appropriate medicine. But if he is unable to pursue, then there is a chance of imperfect selection or selection of similimum. So in such cases, portrait of medicine cannot be matched with a portrait of disease, and physician has to select the imperfect medicine. So in this is due to the shortage of positive drug effects recorded in a homeopathic materia medica. The drug which covers the majority portion of symptoms complex in the patient is to be applied for lack of similimum. So this is related to the first point of B.K. Sarkar, and this is regarding the imperfect selection of similimum, that is explaining in aphorism number 162. Then we studied about the aphorism number 163. So what it explained, aphorism number 163, it is regarding the appearance of accessory symptoms. As we know that after the partially selected medicine, we see the accessory symptoms in a patient. That is, in those cases in which there is a selection of an imperfect medicine or partially similar medicine, we cannot accept an ideal cure, or that cure which takes place without any disturbances. That is, if we select the partial similar medicine or we select the imperfect medicine, in that case we cannot expect a ideal cure or a cure without any disturbances. So in that, after selection of similimum, there is occurrence of new symptoms which are either a symptom of medicine or symptom of progress of a natural disease. But if the selection of potency is minute, appropriate, there can be a cure but some disturbances to the patient. That is, if the selected potency or dose is in a minute state, the accessory symptoms are in a milder level, or that cannot disturb as much. The dose is minute but the dose is large, in that case the accessory symptom may hamper the way of cure. So this is regarding the appearance of accessory symptom, that is explained in aphorism number 163. That is, with the appearance of accessory symptom in the patient after the administration of a partially similar remedy, a considerable part of the original disease is removed by the said drug, and when the dose of the medicine is sufficiently minute, the necessary symptoms are also moderate and do not prevent the commencement of eventual cure. So this is aphorism number 163. This is regarding the accessory symptom. Then we studied the aphorism number 164, and in this what is explaining in this aphorism, that is, if the few symptoms covered by the partially similar drug comprise the symptom uncommon and peculiar to the disease in question, the cure takes place under such circumstances without any particular disturbances, and it is because of the fact that even a single symptom observed is complete with regard to its location, sensation, modality, and concomitant factors, gives us a totality of the case which always indicates the individual patient as a whole. So in this, Dr. Hahnemann explained about the when we select the partial similar remedy. In that case, if the symptoms which are similar to the natural disease are the symptoms which are characteristic, common, uncommon, peculiar symptom, in that case, that partially similar remedy also can occur a cure, and this is a perfect cure, as these symptoms which are similar to the disease condition are peculiar, characteristic, and uncommon symptoms, and in this way the cure can take place without any disturbances. So in this they also explain as a homeopathic symptom. So what is mean by homeopathic symptoms? The homeopathic symptoms of the medicine are those symptoms which are as good as or similar as the symptoms of natural disease, that is symptoms which are similar to the natural disease, that we call it as a homeopathic symptom. Suppose a patient of asthma, there are hundreds of symptoms and arsenic album is the simillimum. Those symptoms of arsenic album which are matched out of the hundreds of symptoms of the patient of asthma, these are called as a homeopathic symptom. And in a case if few symptoms are there, but if they are characteristic, uncommon, peculiar, and for that if there is a proper matching of symptoms of a medicine which are similar in character, in such case cure takes place without any much disturbances if we select the partial remedy also. So this is explaining in aphorism number 164. And in this, is cure possible while treating with a partial similar medicine? Answer is yes, but what is the condition? If those few symptoms are the characteristic symptom of the disease, that is, if the disease symptoms are characteristic, in that case the partially similar remedy can also make cure. Then we studied the aphorism number 165, and it is related to the, that is, if those few symptoms covered by a partially similar remedy comprise only common symptoms, that is headache, diarrhea, debility, the cure is not ensured as there is no chance of individualizing the patient or the drug. But these few symptoms are belongs to the common group of symptoms, that is headache, debility, nausea, loss of appetite. In that case we cannot make sure that the cure can take place. So in this they also explain as a unhomeopathic medicine and a homeopathic medicine. So what is mean by homeopathic medicine? Is that medicine which is indicated by uncommon, peculiar, characteristic and guiding symptoms, and unhomeopathic medicine means in a case if there is absence of uncommon, peculiar, characteristic, guiding symptoms. On the contrary, only common symptoms like weakness, nausea, headache, body ache and loss of appetite are there, and if the medicine is selected on such common symptoms which is not correct one is called as a unhomeopathic medicine. So medicines which is selected on a basis of uncommon, peculiar, characteristic symptom, that we call it as a homeopathic medicine, and symptom which is selected on a common symptoms of a disease condition, that we call it as a unhomeopathic medicine. And such cases we get in those patients which are incurable and where the pathology is well developed or irreversible pathological changes had taken place. That is, when we use the unhomeopathic medicine, that is, it is used in cases where there is a irreversible pathological changes occurred in a patient or where the case is incurable. In that case we can use the unhomeopathic medicine, but in such cases homeopathy physician cannot expect a favorable result from this unhomeopathic medicine. So this is regarding the aphorism number 165. So up till now we completed aphorism number 162 to 165. Now we start with next aphorism, that is aphorism number 166. First I will read the aphorism 166. Such a case is however very rare owing to the increased number of medicines whose pure effects are now known and the bad effects resulting from it, when they do occur, are diminished whenever a subsequent medicine of more accurate resemblance can be selected. So what is given in aphorism number 166? It is regarding the rare use of unhomeopathic medicines. That is, it is also explained in the fifth point of B.K. Sarkar, that is, such a case as mentioned above is getting rare as the collection of well proved increases in course of time. So in this, the rare use of unhomeopathic medicine, it is explained in aphorism number 166 as, nowadays such cases are very few where unhomeopathic medicine is selected due to the increased number of proved medicine with their signs and symptoms, and if physicians takes a proper case, as Dr. Honeyman has explained in the chapter of case taking, that if the physician properly investigate such cases, the symptom which appear common becomes uncommon, peculiar and distinctive. If properly searched by repeated case taking in follow-up treatment, proper simillimum can be selected. So this is regarding the rare use of unhomeopathic medicines. As in 165 they explained that the use of a or a use of unhomeopathic medicines means we can select a medicine on a common symptom. But in 166 they explain about, that is, the rare use of homeopathic medicine. Why there is a rare use of unhomeopathic medicines? That is, it is due to the nowadays such cases are very few, that is where we select a medicine on common symptom. Such cases are very few where unhomeopathic medicine is selected, that is, these cases are very few where we select a unhomeopathic medicine due to increased number of proved medicines. As nowadays there is increased number of proved medicines available with their signs and symptoms, and if the physician takes a proper case, as Dr. Honeyman has explained in the chapter of case taking, that is, if the physician took a well case, while taking the case he has to enumerate or find out the uncommon peculiar characteristic symptoms, that is, according to the guideline given by Dr. Honeyman in a case taking chapter, that if the physician properly investigates such cases, the symptoms which are appear common becomes uncommon, and when the physician took a well case, in that case the symptoms which appears common, in that common also there must be some uncommon factor uh, finding, that is, we find uncommon factor in that common symptoms also, that is, if the patient is having a loss of appetite is a common symptom, but how the loss of appetite is, if the physician properly investigate, that loss of appetite can become a uncommon symptom, that is, loss of appetite only in the morning, loss of appetite only at a night, or loss of appetite during some particular period. So this may be common symptom becomes uncommon, but the physician has to investigate the case properly, that is, the common symptoms become uncommon, peculiar and distinctive if properly searched by repeated case taking in follow-up treatment, that is, if in one visit it is not possible to collect all the uncommon symptom, but in a follow-up cases, that is, the physician has to search for a uncommon or a peculiar symptom, that is, if properly searched by repeated case taking in follow-up treatment, proper simillimum can be selected, and by the proper or repeated case taking you can select a uncommon, peculiar, distinctive symptom, and you can find out a proper simillimum in that case. So this is regarding the aphorism number 166, that is the rare use of unhomeopathic medicines, or in such cases means the cases in which there is a selection of unhomeopathic medicines as mentioned above is getting rarer as the collection of well proved increases in the course of time. That as we have a number of medicines which are well proved, so there is a no need of use of unhomeopathic medicines. So this is regarding the aphorism number 166. Now next aphorism, that is aphorism number 167. In aphorism number 167 they explain as thus, if there occurs during the use of this imperfectly homeopathic remedy first employed accessory symptoms of some moment, then in the case of acute diseases, we do not allow this first dose to exhaust its action, nor leave the patients to the full duration of the action of the remedy, but we investigate afresh the morbid state in its now altered condition and add the remainder of the original symptoms to those newly developed in tracing a new picture of the disease. So this is aphorism number 167, that is regarding the appearance of an accessory symptom in acute diseases. And we see the sixth point in BK Sarkar, that is related to the appearance of a accessory symptoms in acute cases. So first we will see what is given in sixth point of BK Sarkar, that is in acute case when the more violent accessory symptom appear after the administration partially similar remedy, the first dose is not allowed to exhaust its action or the patient is not left at the mercy of this drug and the case is studied afresh in the subsequent altered condition comprising the accessory symptoms along with residuing features of the original symptom and drug homeopathic to the totality of symptoms then present is prescribed. So in this, what to do if we found a number of accessory symptom or a violent accessory symptom in an acute case, as the patient is suffering from some acute case and after giving some medicine, that is partially acting medicine or partially similar medicine, we found that a patient is suffering from a violent number of accessory symptom. In that case what to do? So in that case, that is in case of acute diseases, we do not allow the first dose to exhaust its action. That is, after giving the first dose, we cannot allow it to exhaust its action, nor leave the patient to the full duration of the action of the remedy. As the action of the first dose is not exhausted as early as, and we also do not leave the patients to the full duration of the action of the remedy, as the patient is suffering violently. In that case we do not uh, or we do not leave the patient on the mercy of this drug. So in that case we have to investigate a fresh morbid state in its now altered condition. That is, we have to investigate the case again in a fresh condition that is present now, that is it is of natural disease also and it is a action of a first dose also. So and add the remainder of the original symptom to the those newly developed in stressing a new picture of the disease. In that case we have to select the medicine on the basis of present symptom and on the basis of uh, original symptom and the action of that first dose. So on this morbid state we have to select a simillimum and prescribe to the patient. So this is done in acute cases where we found the violent number of accessory symptom, and in this after the administration of the second drug we will either bring about cure or bring it much nearer to its termination. That is, after the second drug, it may be a proper simillimum or it may be also partial simillimum. So in that case also, in which case the patient will restudied and more analogous remedy by selected and administered. So in that case, if there is a cure, then it is well and okay. But if the patient is also suffering, in that case we have to retake the case and restudy the case, and we have to give the next remedy to the patient. And if this drug is again found to be insufficient for bringing about the perfect recovery, the examination of the remaining morbid condition and the selection of a most suitable homeopathic remedy should be repeated until full restoration of the health is effected. So this is done up to the full restoration of a health is effected. So this is regarding the, that is, aphorism number 167, where we found a number of accessory symptoms which are violent in acute cases. So in this they also explain as a, that is, what to do in acute case after imperfect homeopathic remedy. So in that case we have to re-case taking. What to do? We have to re-case taking. In this accessory symptoms, means symptoms associated with a main complaint having direct physiopathological relation with the main complaint. That is, accessory symptoms means, that is, symptoms associated with main complaint. And in this concomitant symptoms means, concomitant symptoms are those symptoms which are associated with main complaint but which are not having any direct physiopathological relation with the main complaint. So in this they also give the difference between the accessory symptom and concomitant symptom. And in case of acute disease, if the selected medicine is imperfect, one and there occur some accessory symptoms of some movement. In such situation, without any wait and watch and exhaustion of action of medicine and duration of action of medicine, so in that case take a recase taking of the patient which contains signs and symptoms of natural disease and accessory symptoms of natural disease and accessory symptoms of medicine, and form the portrait of a disease. So in that case we have to take the total morbid condition into consideration while taking the case, and we have to select the medicine on the all the totality of the morbid state, and we have to prescribe the medicine. So this is done in a acute case when we select a partial similar remedy and which gives the number of violent accessory symptoms in that case. So this is regarding the aphorism number 167. So in this they explain mainly about the accessory symptom and what is the difference between accessory symptom and concomitant symptoms. In accessory symptom there is having a direct physiopathological relation with a main complaint, and in concomitant symptoms the complaints also comes with a associated, which are associated with main complaint but there is not having any direct physiopathological relation to the main complaint. So this is the main difference between accessory symptom and the concomitant symptom. And there may be accessory symptoms of a natural disease or there may be accessory symptoms of medicine. So this is regarding the aphorism number 167, that is, what to do in acute cases if we select a partial similar remedy in when we have a number of accessory symptoms which are violent in character. So in that case we have to retake the case and give the fresh remedy on the basis of total morbid condition and prescribe to the patient. So this is aphorism number 167. Then we shift towards the next aphorism, that is aphorism number 168. So what is aphorism number 168? It is we shall then be able much more readily to discover among the known medicines an analogy to the morbid state before us, a single dose of which, if it do not entirely destroy the disease, will advance it considerably on the way to be cured, and thus we go on if even this medicine be not quite sufficient to effect the restoration of health, examining again and again the morbid state that still remains and selecting a homeopathic medicine as suitable as possible for it until our object, namely putting the patient in the position of perfect health, is accomplished. So, this is the second part of the sixth point of BK Sarkar, that is what to do in such cases, that is we select the medicines, but if in that case, that is after recase taking from the portrait of a disease and select the proper simillimum. So this is regarding the aphorism number 168, that is if we select the medicine on a morbid state of a patient in acute condition where we found the violent accessory symptom. So in that case, what to do, that is the administration of the second drug will be either bring about cure or bring it much nearer to its termination, that is there may be a cure or there may be not cure, so in which case the patient will be restudied and more analogous remedy by selected and administered. So we have to restudy the case and we have to select the medicine and administered, and if this drug be again found to be insufficient for bringing about the perfect recovery, that is the second medicine also found insufficient to bringing about the perfect recovery, the examination of the remaining morbid condition and the selection of a most suitable homeopathic remedy should be repeated. So in that case we have to re-examine the case, re-study the case, and we have to select the most suitable homeopathic remedy on the present morbid condition of the patient and should be repeated until full restoration of health is effected. So in that case we have to give the medicine, and if this is also insufficient we have to again retake the case and we have to do this is until the full restoration of health is effected. So this is the second part of a 6 point of a BK Sarkar, that is what to do if the medicine which is selected on a present morbid condition is insufficient. Then after recase taking from the portrait of the disease and select the proper simillimum, mean that after recase taking we are able to form a portrait of the disease. For the same portrait of a medicine can be matched, select proper potency. A single dose of such a medicine either cures the patient but or put the patient on the way towards the cure. So continue this, take the case again and again, and after exhaustion of action of a medicine, select the another medicine till ideal cure till ideal cure. That is, we have to retake the case, restudy the case, and select the medicine until we found a exact simillimum and there may be a ideal cure in a patient. So this is regarding the aphorism number 168, that is what to do if the first medicine is efficient to act, that is which is selected for a morbid conditions, that is in acute condition where we found a violent accessory symptom. So this is aphorism number 168. Then aphorism number 169. So what is explaining in aphorism number 169? It is if on the first examination of the disease and the first selection of a medicine, we should find that the totality of the symptom of the disease would not be effectually covered by the disease elements of a single medicine owing to the insufficient number of known medicines, but that two medicines contend for the preference in point of appropriateness, one of which is more homeopathically suitable for one part, the other for another part of the symptoms of the disease. It is not advisable after the employment of a more suitable of the two medicines to administer the other without fresh examination, and much less to give both together. According to sixth edition, for the medicine that seemed to be the next best would not, under the change of the circumstances that has in the meantime takes place, be suitable for the rest of the symptoms that then remain, in which case consequently a more appropriate homeopathic remedy must be selected in place of the second medicine for the set of symptoms as they appear on a new inspection. So this is aphorism number 169, and what it explains the seventh point of a BK Sarkar, that is regarding the selection of a medicine. In selection of a medicine, if we find the two medicines are more similar to that case, in that case what to do, that is in cases where a portion of the symptoms seem to be covered by one drug and the rest of another drug, and the choice of the simillimum becomes well high impossible. That is, if we take the case, in that case some portion of a case is covered by one medicine and some portion is covered by another medicine. If we take the case, in that case we find that the some portion of the case is covered by one medicine and some portion of the case is covered by another medicine. So in that case, the it becomes well high impossible. That is, so in that case the choice of a simillimum is become very difficult, and the drug which is deemed to be more suitable of the two is administered first. So in that case where the half part is covered by one medicine and half part is covered by another medicine, in that case selection of remedy is very difficult. But in that case we have to give one medicine at a time, means the medicine which is deemed to be more suitable of the two administered, the first, that is in that which is the most suitable medicine that can be given at first. And in that also it is explained that we cannot give the two medicine at a time. In the footnote under aphorism number 272 in the sixth edition, that is explained in footnote under 272 in sixth edition of Organon, that is we cannot give the two medicine at a time. That is, if half part is covered by one medicine and half part is covered by another medicine, in that case we cannot give the two medicine at a time. So for this reason we have to select the most suitable medicine, and that can be administered first. It is not proper to administer the remedy of our second choice without restudying the case afresh. So in that, first we give the more suitable medicine, and it is not a proper to administer the remedy of our second choice without restudying the case afresh. That is, but if that medicines cannot act very properly, so in that case we cannot select that second medicine which is our choice. We cannot give that second medicines without restudying the case or without restudying the case afresh. Because why we cannot give that medicine afresh, as we know that the half part is covered by this medicine and half part is covered by a previous medicine, but at second time we cannot give that second medicine without restudying the case. So why we cannot give? Yes, or are you able to listen?
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, we are discussing the aphorism number 169. So, in this part up to the what is the reason we have not give the medicines without restudying the case. This is up to aphorism number 169. So, in this, what is given in aphorism number 169, that is, in cases where a portion of symptoms seem to be covered by one drug and the rest of another drug, and the choice of a simillimum becomes well high impossible. That is, it is becomes very impossible, that is the selection of that medicine, if the half part is covered by one medicine and half part is covered by another medicine. So in this, the drug which is deemed to be more suitable of the two is administered first, and it is not proper to administer the remedy of our second choice without restudying the case. So in this aphorism number 169, they explain as a, that is, due to the lack of knowledge of medicine, when two medicines competes with each other as a simillimum, that we call it as a analogous medicine. That is, both the medicines are competes with one another, and this is due to the lack of knowledge of medicines, and this is, we call it as a analogous medicine. And if after recording of a case of natural disease and after selection of a simillimum, the case as a whole is not covered by one medicine due to lack of knowledge of medicines, that is, the whole case is not indicates one medicines due to the lack of knowledge of medicine. On the contrary, one medicines appear to be simillimum to one part of a disease and next medicines to another part of a disease. That is, we have two medicines that one part covers by one medicines and other medicine covered the another part of the disease. So in such cases we can't administer one medicine after another or both together at a time unless and until fresh examination is not taken. So in that case we cannot administer one medicine after another. That is, if we give the first medicine, we cannot administer the second medicine as a second prescription or both together at a time unless and until fresh examination is not done. As up till now we cannot do the fresh examination of the patient with re case taking or a restudying the case, we cannot give the second medicine. So what is the reason why cannot give the second medicine without restudying the case? This is explaining in aphorism number 170. So in this you have to remember that in such cases we cannot administer one medicine after another. This is according to the footnote number 272 in 6th edition of Organon, that is explained. And or both together, that is both together, that is explaining in 272. And unless the at a time unless or until fresh examination is not done. So why we cannot give that medicine at a time, that is explained in aphorism number 170. So all of you understand aphorism number 169, that is, if we have analogous medicine, analogous medicines means the one medicine competes with other medicine due to the lack of knowledge of medicine. That is, half part of a case is covered by one medicine and half part is covered by another medicine. So in that case we cannot give that both the medicines together, or we cannot give the one medicine after the other medicine without restudying the case. This is important, that is, without restudying the case we cannot give the medicines, that is second medicine, after the first medicine. So this is given in aphorism number 169. So we see what is the reason, that is explaining in aphorism number 170. So 170 they explain as, hence in this, as in every case where a change of the morbid state has occurred, the remaining state of symptoms now present must be inquired into, and without paying any attention to the medicine which at first appeared to be the next in point of suitableness. Another homeopathic medicine as appropriate as possible to the new state now before us must be selected. If it should so happen, as is not often the case, that the medicine which at first appeared to be the next best seems still to be well adapted for the morbid state that remains, so much the more still it merit our confidence and deserves to be employed in preference to another. So what is explaining in this? That is the reason why we cannot give the second medicines without restudying the case, as because it may no longer corresponds to the symptoms remaining after the administration of the first remedy. That is, the case which is present before giving the first medicine is different, and case after giving the first medicine is different. There is some changes in that case after the administration of first medicine. So it is advisable to find the most homeopathic drug for the subsequently altered state of symptoms, might be the previously selected remedy of the second choice still held good for the altered morbid state. So why we cannot give the medicine? As the case which is present now, it is after the administration of a first medicine, so this case not remains the same after the administration of a first medicine. So we have to restudy the case and after restudying the case, that is the altered changes in the case after the first prescription, so we have to restudy the case and we have to give the medicine on that present morbid condition of the patient. But it might be the previously selected remedy of the second choice still held good for the altered morbid state. So in that case, the second medicine must be come into focus, or must be a similar remedy that can be held good for the altered morbid state. As we can see that the second medicine may come in picture after the restudying of the case, and in this way this will increase the confidence of the physician that the second medicine which is find in a first morbid condition can be seen in a second morbid condition also after the administration of a first remedy. So in this, that is, in the follow-up case, use of analogous medicines as per aphorism number 169, out of the two competing medicine, one is given as a simillimum. That is, first we give the first medicine as a simillimum, that is, after exhaustion of its action, take a recase without keeping in mind the previous medicine. So in that case, without keeping in mind, you have to restudy the case or retake the case in mind of a previous medicine, form the portrait of a disease for the same match portrait of the medicine. In such case, if the second competing medicine gets indicated as a simillimum, it increases our confidence. But if the second medicine come in a picture, in that case as a simillimum, it increases the confidence of a physician. So this is regarding the aphorism number 170, in which, that is, use of analogous medicine as per aphorism number 169, out of two competing medicine, one is given as a simillimum. After the exhaustion of its action, take a recase without keeping in mind the previous medicine. You have to study the case, retake the case, but without keeping in mind the second medicine. And in that case, form the portrait of a disease, and that portrait of a disease can be matched with a portrait of medicine. And in such case, if the second competing medicine gets indicated as a simillimum, it increases the confidence of the physician. So this is regarding the aphorism number 170. So 169 and 170, these are aphorisms that are related to the seventh point of B.K. Sarkar. That is, they gave in a combination, that is in aphorism number 169 and 170. In this, the condition given as in 169 and what is the cause behind it, that is given in aphorism number 170. So this is regarding the aphorism number 170. And now the last aphorism, that is aphorism number 179. So before this they gave some chart regarding the aphorism number 169 and 170, that is the case having A and B, that is symptom group A is equal to medicine X and symptom group B is equal to medicine Y. So in this we prescribe the more suitable, that is the A medicines symptoms group A, that is medicine X. So give medicine X, then in follow up directly you cannot give the medicine Y, but you can give it, retake the case and select the new similimum. That is, you have to retake the case and you have to select the new similimum. That new similimum can be the medicine Y, and in that case if the medicine is Y, that may increase the confidence of the physician, but directly you cannot give the medicine Y to the after the medicine X, but you have to retake the case and select the new similimum. It may be Y or it may be another medicine. So this is regarding the aphorism number 169 and 170, that is in diagrammatic form. Then the last aphorism, that is aphorism number 171. So in this what is explaining, in non-venereal chronic diseases, those therefore that arise from psora, we often require, in order to effect a cure, to give several antipsoric remedies in successions, every successive one being homeopathically chosen in concordance with the group of symptoms remaining after completion of the action of the previous remedy. In the sixth edition, the expiry of the action of the previous remedy, which may have been employed in a single dose or in a several successive doses. So what is given in this, that is treatment of non-venereal chronic diseases, that is arising from psora. What should be the treatment of non-venereal chronic diseases that arising from psora, that is use of antipsoric medicines. So in this they explain as a, while treating such chronic cases, record the case, give similimum, wait till duration of action of medicine gets exhausted, re-case taking, and continue this till there occur a complete and a total eradication of whole disease process or phenomena. Same in case of other class of diseases. So in that case we have to do, that is this type of diseases is never cured by completely with single administration of a single remedy. That is the medicines which are chronic in nature and which are arising from a psora, in these diseases are not cured by only a single remedy with single administration. So in that case what to do, that is this type of diseases is never cured completely with a single administration of a single remedy. The duration of a chronic disease is indefinite and long standing. Several antipsoric medicines are to be administered in successive, that is every successive on being homeopathically selected in accordance with the group of symptoms left uncured when the preceding remedy given in a single or a repeated doses has exhausted its action. So in that cases you have to successively retake the case on a present totality and you have to prescribe the medicine. If that medicine is insufficient, you have to again retake the case, restudy the case, you have to select the medicine on that basis, and in that way when the preceding remedy given a single or a repeated doses has exhausted its action. So this is done up to, that is while treating such chronic cases, record the case, give the similimum, wait till duration of action of medicine gets exhausted, then re-case taking is done. This is continue up to and continue this till there occur a complete or a total eradication of whole disease process or a phenomena, and in such cases, or same in case of other class of diseases also, that is use of antipsoric medicines or the diseases which are non-venereal chronic diseases that arises from a SORA. So in that cases, single medicine or single administration cannot give cure to the patient. So in that case, you have to restudy the case, retake the case, prescribe the medicine, wait till duration of action is complete, then again retake the case, restudy the case and prescribe the next medicine. So in this way you have to treat that non-venereal chronic diseases that are arising from the SORA. So this is aphorism number 171. So in this way we finish the aphorism number. In today's lecture, aphorism number 166 to 171. So in this, the 166 is related to the rare use of unhomeopathic medicine. That is, nowadays there are number of medicines which are very well proved. So there is a rare use of unhomeopathic medicine, and we have to do the proper case taking to find out the uncommon, peculiar and characteristic symptom. Then in aphorism number 167, it is regarding the in acute cases, if there is a violent accessory symptom occur, what to do. In that case you have to restudy the case and give the medicine on a more present morbid totality. Then in aphorism number 168, that is, if the first medicine is insufficient, you have to restudy the case and give the medicine up till there is a ideal cure occur. Then in aphorism number 179, it is regarding the in aphorism number 169, it is regarding the analogous medicines. That is, due to the lack of knowledge of medicine, when two medicines competes with each other as a simillimum, if after recording of a case of natural disease and selection of the simillimum, the case as a whole is not covered by one medicine due to lack of knowledge of medicine. That is, half part is covered by one medicine and half part is covered by another medicine. In that case, the medicine which is most suitable you give the first, and then while administer, in that case you cannot give the two medicine at the same time, or you cannot give the medicine until fresh examination is not taken in a patient. So reason given in aphorism number 170, that is why there is not given the medicine after the administration of first. That is, the case which is present before the administration of first medicine is different, and the case after the administration of first medicine is different. So you have to retake the case, you have to restudy the case and give the medicines to the patient. So in that, the second medicine may be come in picture, and that can increase the confidence of a physician. And lastly, in aphorism number 171, that is, it is related to the treatment of non-venereal chronic diseases arising from SORA, which cannot be cured completely with single administration of a single remedy. So in that case you have to number of time you have to restudy the case, retake the case and prescribe the medicine after the completion of duration of action of that medicine, and prescribe to the patient until you find an ideal cure. So this is regarding aphorism number 162 to 171, which are related to the management of cases in partially similar remedy. That is, if you select the partial similar remedy, or what should be the management of cases with partial similar remedies. So this is aphorism number 162 to 171. Now the next chapter, that is aphorism number 172, it is starting of one-sided diseases, and that will take in next week. So in up till now all of you understand any difficulty regarding any aphorism from aphorism number 162 to 171? All of you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So in tomorrow's lecture we will take a revision, and I am going to ask questions to each and everyone. Tomorrow's lecture only for revision, and I will ask question from aphorism number 105 to 171. That is, in this we covered the, I think, 4 chapters. Aphorism number 105 to 145, it is drug proving. Aphorism number 146 to 154, it is the remedy selection. Then aphorism number 155 to aphorism number 161, it is related to the homeopathic aggravation. And aphorism number 162 to aphorism number 171, it is related to the partial similar remedy. So these 4 chapters we completed, and in tomorrow's lecture I am going to ask question to each and every one. And if you are present tomorrow, you present for 3 days, and if you absent for tomorrow, you absent for 3 days, and you have to present with answers. So tomorrow I will take the revision of these aphorisms, that is aphorism number 105 to 171. All of you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I am going to ask questions to each and every one. So be ready with reading for tomorrow's lecture. So today we will stop here and end the meeting. Anyone want to ask anything? कोणाला काही विचारायचे का? एंड करू का मीटिंग? उद्याच्या लेक्चर मध्ये आपण रिव्हिजन घेणार आहोत फक्त. aphorism number 105 to 171. आणि उद्या जे प्रेझेंट असतील ते 3 दिवसासाठी प्रेझेंट असतील. उद्या जे अब्सेंट असतील ते 3 दिवसासाठी पण अब्सेंट असतील. सगळ्यांना आवाज येतोय का? कोणाला येत नसेल तर मेसेज टाका मला. पर्सनली मी सांगते काय तर, नाही तर तुमच्या फ्रेंड्सला विचारा ज्यांना आवाज येतोय त्यांना. एंड करू का?